What's up, everybody? Eddie here. Now, there's been some breaking developments in my cell phone game. I came over from Sprint, and I was using Xfinity Mobile, and now I'm back to Sprint. Now, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what happened. Comcast Xfinity will always be one of the worst customer service experiences you will ever have. I don't care what carrier you come from, anywhere from dishwashers to TVs to your experience at with the dentist to anything. Their customer service is the worst. The worst. And I'm going to tell you why. I had a Note 8 I exchanged within the first week of having it because I felt the battery was defective. It was only lasting 4 to 5 hours, where my S8 Plus was giving me 8 to 9 hours. So I was using the phone relatively the same. So I don't think 4 hours is justifiable for a brand new phone that you're paying $960 for. So I sent me a replacement. That was pretty easy peasy, surprisingly. But the trouble comes is after I returned it. I returned it 2 weeks ago. Takes you about on a long end 5 to 7 days. It was 2 weeks ago. I called today because I had some issues. Well, yesterday technically, I had some issues with my Note 8. The voice LTE was no longer working. I could not surf the web while being on the phone. I have my earbuds in and I'm using my phone, and it's always something constant. If it's not for work, for Instagram, for YouTube, whatever, if I'm talking to somebody, I'm looking up something, I'm using it. It's very important in my day-to-day life. And I know you're probably saying, oh, Sprint doesn't have that. Actually, they do. It's a Calling Plus feature that they offer for certain phones. But that's besides the point. So I called up to handle this issue, right? At first, I spoke to 4 different reps. I told them what was going on. The first 2 acted as if I had 3 heads and they didn't understand English. The third one was semi-helpful, but the fourth one told me that they would send it over to... I'm sorry, the third one told me they'll send it over to technical support. I should hear back in 1 to 3 days. And then the fourth person told me, you should go to the store, try out a new SIM card. If it's not that, it's a device. If it's not the device, it's the network. Basically, answering no questions and not handling anything over the phone. Sending me to the store. That's, if you have Xfinity Comcast, they're going to tell you to go to the store. That's what they do. I don't know how they start service without giving any of the operators over the phone any power. All they can do is click on the keyboard and tell you to go to the store. It's unbelievable. So that's one, right? So I got off the phone with him, and I just started doing some soul searching, and it's like, I got 2 phones. The Sprint I was going to have for a while anyways because it's a family plan, and it doesn't do me any good to cancel, because it would have been more money to cancel where to have the phone right now, because I have 3 lines for $90, and even if I cancel, the line will still be there, and I would only be saving $25, but I would have to pay the remainder of the phone plus the cancellation fee. It would have been insane. So I decided to hold on to the phone. Plus, I never had heard of Xfinity prior to me trying them out, so I didn't want to get rid of them just yet, not knowing what my experience with Xfinity would be like. So upon some soul searching, I decided, you know what? I'm only going to have 1 phone. It doesn't make sense right now. My YouTube page is not popping like that to have 2 phones to be testing out or whatever. So as an up-and-comer, I made the decision to get rid of Xfinity. So I called up to cancel Xfinity. They tell me that they have yet to receive the original Note 8 that I sent in 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. So I pulled up my Google Photos. I looked in, I took pictures, and I recommend everybody take pictures. Always take pictures. Document everything, especially when dealing with Comcast, because they're pieces of shit. Anyways, I had the tracking number, looked it up on my end while I had the guy on the phone, and I said, I don't know what your computer's telling you, but mine is telling me that this has been delivered. Our end, they tell me our end shows it hasn't. I hung up, called back again, spoke to somebody different, and I told them what was going on, that I wanted to cancel, and they said, oh yeah, the whole other phone came up, and I was like, well, I have the tracking number, and it shows it was delivered. He asked for it, I gave it to him, he's like, yeah, I see that. And then all of a sudden, on his computer, the agent prior to him told me it was just not there, right? All of a sudden, after I tell him I have the tracking number and I give him the tracking number, all of a sudden on his computer now, he can see that it was checked in and signed for by one of their technicians at the warehouse, right? After I gave him the tracking number. So I think he was trying to call my bluff, but I wasn't really bluffing. And he was like, oh, okay, yeah. So anyways, he canceled over the phone. I have the box that I originally got my phone in with a return label. And number 2, always get the RMA number. Always get that. It will protect you. Get that. So I got it all packaged up. I'll be shipping it out tomorrow. Again, I took my pictures. I protected myself. A little piece of paper with the date and the time, because you don't want no BS when it comes to these people. So that's really it. I canceled service mostly because it was going to be too expensive to maintain, because unfortunately where I was moving to in Tampa does not offer Comcast. So Comcast is $45 a month unlimited if you are a Comcast customer. If you are not a Comcast customer, you're looking at $75. Now, this is what the rep told me. Now, if you guys get a different price online, don't shoot my head off. That's what the rep told me. $75. So that's $75 plus the $40. I would be paying almost $115 a month for service with Xfinity to have unlimited. So when I called up and got that information, that helped me decide to lean towards only having one phone. Unfortunately, it's the S8 Plus on Sprint, which sucks balls, but it is what it is. I had to do what I had to do. But a part of it was the price point after I'm no longer with Comcast. Then it's the service. The customer service is absolutely horrendous. I don't think I've ever experienced worse customer service anywhere. And I can see how customer service alone will deter people from joining Xfinity Mobile. Number 3, to top it all off, the feature was not working. Voice over LTE is very important, and it's something I do get with Sprint. And it was not working with them. And to have them resolve issues is impossible. I had an issue with insurance for the phone. When I ordered the phone, I asked to have insurance included. When I got it, it was not there, and to add it was a nightmare. It's like every time you have an issue, you call Xfinity, you have to call 3-4 times, because you're going to get 3-4 different answers, and you have to go with whatever they tell you, and hopefully that person that you're speaking to that time is telling you the right information. But a lot of times they're unprepared, they're not knowledgeable, they're not well versed and well knowledged in the cell phone game. And I blame Comcast for that, for not offering the proper training for these people. But in the long run, mostly was price. $75 is ridiculous. Even with Sprint, when this plan expires, excuse me, which it expires March 2018, it would only be 45 per line, or 50 for the first, 45 for the second, and 40 or 35 for the third. It's some family plan offer they have. That alone is significantly cheaper than what you would be paying Xfinity if you were to move and not have them anymore. Or if you were to get them and when they make it available for everyone, the price point is definitely not worth it, and they're shooting themselves in the foot with that experience. Now, the service itself, data and texting, phone call, is exceptional, and I guess you got to take a lot of bad to get a little bit of good, and the little bit of good is just the service itself. But the phone will have hiccups, shit will happen, and unfortunately, you will have to contact Xfinity, and you will get dicked around. So that's really up to you and your preference in having to deal with this stuff. Me personally, I've had T-Mobile, I have Sprint, I've had AT&T. I've never had the BS that I have with Xfinity with any other company. Yeah, you get some rude people. Yeah, you get some people that are just lazy, but they're always knowledgeable and always mark stuff in the system. They always help you, even if they're trying to be douchey on the phone. And if not, you can ask to speak to a manager, and you'll get your shit resolved. Now with Xfinity. And all in all, I have to say Xfinity, the service is saving, but everything else is not. They're like a strong C+ when it comes to an altogether package. And the only reason they're not an F is because of the service. But for service alone, you can't go crazy on them, because like I said, you will have to contact Xfinity eventually, and that's where the shit happens. Anyways, this has been Eddie. I Tech You Not. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace out.